What is something you did that increased your quality of life so much that you wished you would have done it much sooner because it changed your life forever? Always dreamed about writing a novel. At 60, doing it. Quit a job I absolutely hated. Where I was before. Workplace culture was come in early. Work through breaks and lunch. Work late. Benefits were met and vacation time was capped at 3 weeks. No pension. Pay was okay though. Now, it's a 7-hour workday, pension, decent benefits, 5 weeks vacation and zero stress job. It's been 10 years. I still don't make as much, but the work-life balance blows that out of the water. Not to mention I won't be working until I am 60. It's amazing what a difference it makes to not feel ground down day after day. Stopped assuming that people's thoughts about me were at all similar to that extremely critical voice in my head. It's still somewhat of a struggle to stay positive, but overall, being yourself and staying present when with others really reduces anxiety. Peaceful would be a good word to describe it. One of the best things a mentor told me was nobody cares as much about you as you do about yourself. And he didn't mean it in a condescending way, just that nobody is thinking as much about anyone else as they are about themselves. Felt so relieved after that aha moment. Regulating my alcohol intake. Paying attention in general to how my body reacts to what I introduce it to. Paying attention. Chiming in to say that the brain is particularly bad at paying attention to what alcohol does. On the other hand, it is usually really good at convincing itself it doesn't depend on it. Applying for a job I didn't think I was qualified for. It doubled my salary and let me move to a place I'd only ever dreamed of living in. This gives me hope. I'm terrified of interviews because I feel like such a fraud, so I can't even apply. But I also cannot stand the thought of staying in my current job forever. Doing my research on nutrition and making myself a decent breakfast. If someone asks me to do something and it will take me 5 minutes or less to do it, I'll do it immediately. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I never realized how much stuff I put off until later and then promptly forgot about. Also, once you've done one 5-minute task, it's easier to just go and do the next. I became much more productive and saved myself a lot of time and effort at the same time. The 5-minute rule is awesome. I gave up on finding a wife girlfriend and just started doing my own thing. Go to eat alone. Go on vacation alone. Go to the movies alone, and honestly I have never been happier. Buying all the same socks. No more folding. No more matching. No more looking for missing sock brothers. Just throw them all in a drawer. Reach in, grab 2 and get your day started right. That sounds heavenly. Not being afraid to admit when I'm wrong. For years, I was obsessed with being correct about everything. This semester, one of my professors said that it's okay if we are not experts in the material yet. From then on, I've actually been better at admitting when I do not know an answer or saying the wrong answer in class without cringing, hating myself. It's not a mistake to be wrong. It's a mistake to not learn from your mistake, not to evaluate where it went wrong, to not try to improve yourself, and to reduce the chance of repeating the mistake. I say reduce because it's often impossible to 100% prevent a mistake from repeating itself, and that's perfectly okay too, as long as you can honestly say I tried. I got a lot of house plants to put all over my house. Makes my home environment look beautiful and feel homey, fresh, and just all around better. Getting a job I didn't hate. I am so much happier now, even though I am making 1/2 as much. You being happier is what I needed to read. I just quit a job I hated. I'm living on savings until I find something different, but I know whatever it will be I'll make 1/2 as much because I refuse to do what I've been doing, but I'm not qualified for anything else. Eating veggies. My mum rarely fed us veggies, and we had constant digestive issues. As soon as I moved out on my own, I started eating veggies and have rarely had an upset stomach since. It was literally daily agony eating nothing but meat and carbs. Admitting that I needed a therapist. As a teenager with strict parents, if I was caught saying anything against them, I was automatically grounded, so I couldn't let out my emotions and I felt like a double agent in my own house. With a therapist, I could work through my problems without the risk of being in trouble. Learning to always keep my keys in the same place. Please teach my GF this. I had a decayed wisdom tooth with an exposed nerve, and I lived with it for 10 years, when I didn't have dental or disposable income. My life changed the day I had it pulled. If there's something wrong with your teeth, find a way to get it taken care of. I spent a decade in pain whenever I drank something cold or chewed on the left side of my mouth, and I could have had it corrected much sooner if I'd had my act together. Taking fiber supplements. I now crap like clockwork, twice a day, and even after a night of drinking, I have never had more than a 3 wipe to clean. I'll never go back to not taking them. The quality of my shoots has just been absolutely magical. I wish I knew of this sooner. Try it for a month. You'll never want to stop. No more peanut butter in a shag carpet. No more mud streaks. No more wiping yourself raw. It's life changing. Fiber supplements are also great during backpacking trips, where pooping in the woods is required. Heavy physical activity for days on end without a shower, no easy way to wash up, and limited toilet paper. This is when it's really beneficial to have poops that glide out effortlessly, requiring maybe a pat or two at most to wipe effectively. Get a good cutting kitchen knife. It's amazing. I'm no chef, but my father had a proper set of knives. Man, those knives made a world of difference. I started drinking at a young age mostly because I was shy and introverted, and it helped me come out of my shell. It was a way to be able to talk to people. It became a crutch. I've had some great times, but since I've stopped drinking at the late age of 64, I'm beginning to feel so much better and wonder how different and more fulfilling my life could have been if I'd just tackled my insecurities when I was younger rather than turning to alcohol. The important thing is you have now, so enjoy it. Better than being 85 and stopping, wondering what your 60s and 70s could have been like. Now you're free to enjoy all those years. 6 years ago I decided to never be late to anything ever again. My whole life up until that point I was always late to everything. School, birthdays, etc. Anyway, making sure I'm on time saves me a lot of trouble and a lot of stress and anxiety. Also, everyone I know who has noticed it really appreciates it. Being on time for plans shows that you care about people and that they are important to you. As a kid I read books all the time, then I quit for some reason, got married, had kids, started a business. Never any time for reading. Last year, at 45, I started reading books again. What a fool I was to ever stop. I got locked up for missing a court date for a week or so. Never left my cot. Just read. I loved it. Was sore from lack of movement. But I'd love to do that again. Minus jail, of course. I don't eat anything after 9 PM. You won't believe how much it improved my sleep. I started drinking lots of water and cutting out sodas and juices. I got myself a wraparound body pillow and holy moly I sleep like an angel. I stopped smoking and I can freaking breathe. Seriously, I only smoked for a year and after I quit I could breathe and smell things again. Quitting smoking was the best decision I've ever made. To just chill out. 90% of the time, I mess things up not because they were difficult or impossible, but because of my own anxiety and perfectionism that led to procrastination. Honestly, just chill the F out. You're a small stardust skeleton in a huge universe. Stop being dramatic. Music. I should have started playing music earlier. It made my life so much better and I am so much happier. I started 3 years ago and I know 4 instruments. I'm going to learn 10 by the time I graduate. Drinking water. Keeping a guitar pick in my pocket so that I can scratch my testicles in public discreetly. We're living in 2019 while this guy's in 3019. Working out and eating right. Embracing my sense of style. I've always loved fashion and spent way too much of my youth dressing trendy. Now I embrace my walking thrift store look. It makes me happy and is oh so comfy. Moved from a night shift 7p to 7 a job to a day shift job 7 to 7p. Huge difference. I'm not a tired aggravated butthole all the time anymore. Quit drinking. After 30 years of poisoning myself on the reg, I am finally living instead of just existing. Best thing I have ever done. Having better money management. Realize nothing I say will be remembered in 2 days. I've always has a problem with paranoia and thinking people are more sensitive than they are. Saved me many hours of sleep and probably a year or two of life. Learning to tell others how I really feel. I know it sounds so mainstream, but I tried Marie Kondo's organizing and decluttering method, and honestly, it was life-changing. Living in a small space, I always thought that I was running out of space. But when I tried Marie Kondoing my stuff, I was astounded to find out how much I owned. When I cleared out my clothes, I had 5 trash bags full of them. Just clothes alone. After I tidied up my stuff, it was pretty liberating to know exactly what I owned and where stuff is. It's sometimes hard to fold clothes the way she does every time, but it does force me to be more mindful and just really do it so my cabinet won't get messy. Plus I can let go of books easily now and let other people experience them, as opposed to hoarding them. Overall, I love it. 1 year ago today I attempted to take my own life and ended up in the hospital for 10 days. After that I focused hard on my care plan. I did over 700 hours of therapy last year and have been steadily taking my meds for over a year. A year ago I was miserable, alone, and was in the processing of passing from this world. This morning I'm taking a work call from my car because my kids are having too much fun in the bath and my incredible wife can't keep them quiet. I married into kids a few months ago. The wife and kids weren't in the picture when I attempted suicide. It really does get better, but it's hard freaking work. Realize that people don't remember all the stupid stuff I do. It's all in my head. No need to lose hours of sleep reminiscing about that thing I did 5 years ago. Deleting Facebook. Did it years ago. Should have done it years before that. Honestly, shaving my head. As someone who started losing hair at age 20, had the old monk bald spot by 23, and horse show by 25, it took me until 29 to say frick it, I'm shaving. I have a lot more confidence and have gotten compliments BC of it. This is huge. Taking control of your look is much more commanding than trying to salvage a bad situation. I'm glad you found what works for you. Had my male breasts removed and took dance classes. Stop chasing normal. I've dealt with the deleterious effects of birth defects all my life. That's how they work, and was consequently jealous and envious of the seeming normalcy of others. As I started to grow older, I slowly became obsessed with perfection, and for a time, that did seem to push me forward to being a better version of myself, or so I thought. By the time I reached my late 20s, I was getting burned out. I fallen and failed in multiple arenas, but I hadn't learned from any of those failures, as my mindset was that they were just that, failures, not learning experiences. So as they began to increase, my self-image began to fall hard. So it was that I was on a date with a girl that I'd eventually become engaged to. We didn't make it to marriage. It's complicated, but TLDR, she passed away a few years back, and we did something that I've rarely seen happen on dates. We just unloaded all our baggage on one another. It was so freeing, and it led to this wonderful conversation wherein I admitted to chasing this specter of normalcy that I perceived as perfection. Thankfully, she set me straight. She opened my eyes to the fact that we all have something wrong with us, whether it is obviously perceptible by the masses or not. She told me, normal is an ever-moving goalpost, it's a fallacy. Since that day, I have stopped, or at least, made a concerted effort to stop, trying to compare myself to others, and just be the best version of me that I can be. The relationship that unfolded with this girl was fraught with twists and turns. Like I said, complicated. But I always carry her lesson with me, and I can carry more, because she helped me unload all that previous baggage. And just be the best version of me that I can be. That's something I learned to be recently that I wish I had known so much earlier. I stopped trying to get to the highest position at work and I now enjoy my job more than I ever thought I could. I had always assumed once I did really well, it was time to move up. I'm now more of a if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of person, and it's awesome being really great at my job. Getting an IUD. I've been on hormonal birth control since I was a child to try to control this. I used to have to take a week off every month to just lie in bed with narcotic painkillers, and once had my iron level get so low that I ended up hospitalized. Now I haven't had a period in 3 years, and the difference is amazing. I can actually live. Totally regret all of those years of pointless suffering from age 9-23. You have been visited by the ingenious Joe. Comment brain so you always see the glass half full. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.